So you just had a long fight with some ghouls. You've gave the spare sending stone to Wee Rab. There you go. What do you want to do, gentlemen?
And we'd cleared all the spiders, hadn't we?
You had, yes. So while you're in the spider room, you're having your short rest. You get a text message from Wee Rab saying, I'm outside.
So don't worry, I'll find you. You're probably only 2 rooms in because it takes you a week to get through one door anyway.
Oh, burn.
We got in quicker this week because nobody chucked the orc off the roof.
So you have a short rest because you know the safe route now. Backwards and forwards to the main door.
I have one, show me.
Cheers, my dears.
Right, so everybody's rested. You're all together. Where do you want to go now?
Girl room, because the girls would have probably killed anything that's up there.
It's a good idea.
Down with that.
You head back down the stairs into the foul girl room and then back up the stairs. The stairs lead up into a hallway at the top of the fortress. Who will be going up first? Sengo.
And I'll go up second.
The stairs lead up into a corridor. Directly opposite you is a door of the stout dwarven design, and there's a wide corridor goes to the north and to the south. On this map, you go down, you go along, you go up. Wide steps with the remains of carpet lead down to the south and then turn to the west. To the north, the wide corridor turns to the left, and there's a door to the north wall. There's a door to the west.
I will check the north door.
No, you don't find any traps on that door. Around that door to the north, though, the walls are cracked. It looks like part of the place has been demolished by an earthquake and the rest of it has been dug out by the hands of the ghouls.
I'm going to nip down and have a quick look round that corner.
The stairs go down. The remains of what appears to be a fancy woven carpet are on the floor. So it looks like this is an important looking staircase leading down to the south.
Well, I shall nip back round the corner so I'm not completely blind obvious and whisper to the chaps what I've seen.
At the end is a corridor and there's some arrow slits. As you look, some kind of spectral dwarven lady comes through the door. She floats through the door 2 feet above the floor. She floats gently down the corridor, wailing and moaning in a high-pitched voice.
I'm not surprised if she's 2 foot off the floor. Think of the subsidence in here.
Could we roll perception or something to see her intentions? Like, is she just a ghost or is she like a nasty ghost?
You can roll perception.
12. Wasn't great. She's a dwarf, though.
Sounds like she's a banshee, if she's wailing.
She's like going, and looking down into her hands.
I cast Shillelagh, just in case.
Okay.
We don't know if she's bad yet. She might just be like a ghost, so we can either just try and disperse her. That's probably a bit mean.
I'll say, hello, lady, can we help you?
You stride forward.
Yeah, so I can make a sideways if I have to duck out the sight in the words.
Right, so she moves down the corridor. She completely ignores you. Right, she gets to this door, looking down at her hands. She looks like she's just about to turn around, and you speak up and say,
can we be of assistance?
She stops looking at her hands. She looks up, spectral tears roll down her face and into her beard as long wisps of hair hang down. Her face becomes a mask of rage and she screams, "Get out of my house!"
I back up to give the others room in case.
She looks at you and her hair all floats ethereally about her face. And she takes a deep breath, and then you all, can you give me a perception roll, please? Everything stops, Matrix style. Wee Rab, you see, as she casts a spectral gaze across the party, that she actually lingers on Rick for just a second or two. She sort of looks at him and looks away at the next person, and then sort of jerks her head just slightly back towards Rick before screaming.
Maybe you should try talking to her in Dwarfish, Rick.
So am I to assume that you sort of shove Rick forward, gently but firmly, and go, talk to her in Dwarvish?
Yeah.
I'm carrying that shield that I took. So yeah, I could show her that and then speak to her, say we're not here to desecrate. We are here to investigate.
Her face comes in. She looks down at the shield. Tears run down her face and into her beard. And she says, We starved because of the curse. And you've brought it back to me. and she reaches out with that spectral hand and she touches the shield. As she touches the shield, her whole body from the fingertips up starts crumbling. Over the course of like 3 or 4 seconds, she looks into your eyes. Her body slowly turns to dust. The last thing to turn to dust is her face, and she, with a whiff pile of dust, falls to the ground. She touched it in the center of the sigil, begins to glow blue for just a second or two.
Can cast detect magic as a cantrip.
Now the shield does indeed detect as magical.
Shashalian steps up and says, "See, lads, no problem."
The sad banshee creature is no more. You've reunited her with her shield.
She starved to death, but she never ate a shield. That doesn't ring true.
It sounds very undwarven, doesn't it? She came through the door at the very west end of the corridor, and you can see there's indentations in the wall. Obviously, it looks like there may be doors down there, and there's arrow slits that show into the main hall straight ahead.
Should we not have a look in the door that Andy's sort of like standing right next?
Yeah.
No, it needs to be
Make sure
tested
it's
for
not
traps.
You are most certain that it is not trapped, young sir.
Gently push it open as quietly as I can. Peeking.
With barely a whisper of dust, you slide the door open.
And I've got a chainmail shirt on and all.
Alright. The room opens. First thing you notice is it absolutely stinks in here. In the middle of the room stands a carved stone tub, and hanging out of it are gnawed and decaying dwarf bones and limbs. Dried blood has blackened the floor in this chamber. It looks horrendous.
Ghoul buffet.
Ghoul buffet indeed.
Is Sengo coming to tell us that, like?
Yeah. I'm going to enter that room, Richie, actually, and I'm going to investigate it.
Like, move down there to look through that arrow slit.
Right, you don't find any secret doors or anything, but in the southeastern corner you see an old fireplace, and you definitely find a couple of dwarf ghoul footprints, both going and coming. They appear to be scrambling in and out of the chimney.
Right, is there any way that we could like block that off?
The stone tub is fixed to the floor.
Close the doors and spike them shut.
The tub has a strange pipe leading to a brass wheel on the top that looks like it turns.
Okay.
Should I turn it?
I don't know.
Yes,
It's a risk.
but I will have a look at
Go
it for trap. It's definitely not trapped.
It is.
It's a nice.
It's 100% not trapped. For a few seconds, nothing happens, and then there's a strange gurgling noise. Water starts to pour out and into the tub, but it's got like a mineral smell to it, and it's red hot as it's coming out.
Frightened.
What colour is the water? Like reddy, rusty, sort of
Yes, but it does get a bit clearer.
mineral water.
These dwarfs in the tub, are they wearing
Oh,
anything?
There's no dwarves in the tub. There's bits of dwarves in the tub.
Bits dwarf in the
Yeah.
tub.
It looks like you're looking at a 1980s horror flick. That's what it looks like in that tub.
Turn the top off. Leave the room, and then who's
Oh,
got
that's coming
spikes?
from-
I have a spike.
I've got 10 spikes.
They've even got Acme written on the side. Acme
Yeah, I've got like 10
Dungeoneer
of
and
them.
Iron Spikes.
Has anybody got any like hot magic? Like fire is the word I should have used, but
Yeah, what you thinking, Rick?
I was thinking whether or not we could, like, rather than having to leave spikes everywhere, was just melt the door handle so that they couldn't, like, it melted into the lock. We could just hammer it shut, couldn't we?
Just
Like, give it a good smacking.
use
so
the
that
hammer to smash the door handles off.
Yeah, well, so that, like, the door handle had merged, like, we
Yeah.
smash it also, it doesn't turn. Like, the tumblers are all buggered in it.
Yeah, you can just smash the door handles off with a hammer. You smash the door handles off so that you can't pull the door open.
Oh, that's another door, though, isn't it? Yeah. Could,
You've gone from no testing for
friendly
traps
rogue.
to test everything for traps. You're just as convinced as you were before that this has got no traps.
can I move into that other room, then?
Right, you pull the door open. Inside is an opulent bedroom, decayed with age, and it's covered with dust and cobwebs. It looks like the room was ransacked in a hurry and then just left.
Can I detect magic in here to see if there's anything going on?
Certainly. There's nothing that you can detect within range that's magical.
Can I see any indications of ghouls?
Make an investigation roll as you poke around in the old fire.
I cannot see anything.
You can't see anything. You're pretty certain there's been no ghouls down there.
Right, well, I'm just going to come back out of the room, tell the lad, bit of a shit tip, but it used to be quite pretty.
So you look down the corridor. There's something written on the end door.
Can I move closer to see what it says?
Yeah, it says privy.
I'll shout that back to the lads. Dwarf Lou.
So the ghost came out of the privy.
She was also starving, so I don't know what she was looking for in there to eat. But, you know,
Come on, man.
You've got a door to the south, and judging by the last two rooms, it looks like this is some kind of guest wing because Rick's used to dwarf buildings.
We should probably just have a quick glance in. Actually, check traps on both of these doors next to where Rick is.
Now the door seems to be trapped.
Can we check down in this room first?
You open the south door.
Yeah.
It opens into a room similar to the ones you've seen before. A stone framed bed with a mouldy mattress stands in the centre of this room, covered in dust and cobwebs. Set into the south wall is a soot-stained fireplace.
Can I detect any magical stuff in here?
It's
30 feet.
You cannot detect any magical stuff in here.
So he comes back from the door and just tells everybody that it's a room. Now interesting.
Rob, you've moved to that edge of that room. Give us a perception check, please. Yep. You hear vague fluttering noises from the chimney in the south.
I'll let Rick know.
I'll move up the corridor, and I'm basically got me short sword out, and I'm waiting for the penny to drop.
You can go down the big stairs, or you can go all the way back around the outside and go into the main hall. You've checked the door for traps already, haven't you? Are you pushing it open?
Yeah.
Okay, you shove the door open. It connects to the balcony that is raised up on the main hall behind two double doors. There's nothing exceptional about this room other than the double doors in the west wall.
Let's go back down to the big stairs.
I am fine with that idea. I've moved my character.
What do you do then, Rab? Everybody seems to be impatient to get downstairs.
Right, I'll move closer. How big does it sound like whatever this is flopping around in the fireplace?
It sounds like several fluttering wings and some high-pitched sort of cheeping / squawking noises.
Storage bats. Okay. I'll just back out the door, close the door,
Okay.
and then we'll catch up with the rest of them.
Are you heading down the stairs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
The stairs go down in a spiral. You poke your head round and it opens into what appears to be the main throne room. However, the stench of death hangs extremely heavy in the air. You see a big pillar in the centre of the room. There's a fireplace on the east wall. What do you want to do, chaps?
Move into it.
Yeah.
You step forth. There's a deep alcove in the south wall, of which you can just see the bottom of a dark limestone dais. And some other doors to the east, to the north, and two small doors in the north wall.
Lots of doors to investigate, lots of potentially trapped doors.
I want to investigate this chimney breast that's behind me.
Okay, can you make us an investigation roll? 10. You see what looks like it could be a partially obscured handprint on the side of the chimney as it's coming out. As you step back from behind the pillow, Sengo, you can see that behind these columns there's a granite throne sat upon the dais, flanked by statues of dwarf warriors.
Right.
Would I recognise any of the warriors, like from legend or anything?
Give us a history check.
16.
You do recognise them. They are famous depictions of dwarf heroes of old.
Okay.
Go and investigate the throne.
You step on to view this granite throne. Almost immediately you're struck by an overpowering stench, and surprising you leaping out from behind the throne is a dwarf. He's all rotted like a ghoul, carrying a two-handed axe, wearing a crown atop his head.
Oh, shit.
I think we need to put him down, let him be with his ancestors.
He leaps out, Sengo. He claws at you with his surprise round. It's like, argh! He's carrying the axe, but he's not swinging the axe like a weapon. He seems to be carrying it as if he's doing it out of memory. Well, he misses with his bite, and he misses with his claws. Go on to initiative, people. Shashelian. Dave moves to there. I take it you're taking an attack action there, Dave.
Yeah,
All right.
I miss with the first one. Do an ordinary attack with the second.
Right, you strike with the second one, roll your damage. Oh! An arrow just slices its collarbone, barely nicking it. You're up next, Badger.
Yes, if I go to there and then attempt to fire an arrow at it.
It's another hit. Another arrow flies from the wee fella. Right, this one does slightly more damage as it sticks in his thigh. Is that your turn complete?
Yes, unless I can do anything about hiding.
If you've got any movement left to run behind a pillar, then you can have a go at hiding. Right. Okay, Sengo, you're up next.
I'm just going to do 2 attacks on it. I've got my shield in one hand, so it's just a normal single-handed strike.
Right, you cut a big chunk off this thing, and it's definitely a hit with that one. Right, it's the Ghoul King's turn again. He bites you. He hits and draws blood. He then claws at you.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
But misses. From the fireplace, you hear scrambling.
That's not good.
Shash, a ghoul, scrambles out on all fours, runs across the room, and claws and bites at you. Missing with the bite, missing with the claws. One runs out, sees Rab, and he attacks Rab, hitting and wounds you, Rab. Then he claws. Yes, he hits. Rab, you feel your muscles contract, and you are paralyzed.
Oh, not good.
There's a few. It might take us a while to get on this. Another ghoul comes pouring out, charges round and jumps on Rick and bites at you, Rick. Missing, claws, hits. I give you wounds like a DM. You resist the poison.
Good. Stupid ghouls.
So who's unconscious?
Nobody's unconscious. Wee Rab is horrifyingly awake as he's about to be eaten alive. Another one comes crawling out from underneath. He's going to attack Edigal. He misses.
Not even a guy.
He claws. He hits. This is the bad bit.
Failure.
Edigal's paralyzed as well.
Great.
Right, that is what has happened this round. We've Rab McTavish. Rick.
I am. So I'm just going to use everybody's least favourite Warhammer and miss, unsurprisingly. Then I might cry, but it's probably not very devoted to Dwarfish. That's it. I'm afraid. That was a rubbish turn.
Kalak, you finally go.
I'll come round here and I'll target that one that's on Wee Rab. 1,000,000 damage.
It does 1,000,000 damage, right? You stab
That
it.
would be very useful right now.
You stab it deeply and it howls in pain. New round, Shash Elian. You've been engaged by a ghoul.
But I don't want to get married.
Well,
Fine.
he's certainly after the ring back.
Right, then I want to cast Spark Skin, then drop my bow and draw my sword and shield.
And we await with bated breath as you lay down the law on this ghoul. You hit! Yes, Dave, you hit! For minimum damage. Right. Edigal. Just roll a Constitution saving roll.
Like that.
An 8, yeah. Unfortunately, you need 10.
I thought I might have done.
Sengo.
Rage. And I'm also going berserk. I'm going to finish off this king.
And crack.
With a great roar, Sengo loses his shit. He hits.
Dying.
Right, how do you kill the Ghoul King?
I just sort of like take a step back with my arm like at a right angle and then just sort of like lunge forward, pinning him against the wall. Then quickly withdraw it. And then I run to the nearest one to me is that one attacking Andy. So I shall go to him.
You slice deeply into the beast. It whips its head round as it was just about to take a big chunk out of Andy and sees you.
I might be paralysed, but my eyes are smiling.
Creature 1 bites at you, Dave. Misses. Claws. Gets a critical hit. 15 damage. You succeed at your concentration spell, however, Dave. Right, unidentified creature 2. It turns away from attacking Wee Rab as it's just been almost disemboweled by Earl and changes its targets to focus on you, Earl.
Look, I'll make myself look big.
It misses with a bite. It hits with the claws. The right across your chest. Oh, crap. And you're paralyzed. Oh, not going so good.
So we've got 3 people paralyzed out of 6.
Yeah. And now it's your turn to get paralyzed, Rick. First of all, it bites. It misses. It claws. Hits. Does the slashing damage. You succeed at the constitution. It was close though.
Yay!
Wee Rab. Right, rate a constitution saving throw, Wee Rab.
2.
Missed by 1. You stand there looking delicious, but unable to act. Rick, you're up.
Alright, so the one just straight in front of me, I will, in fact, still hit it with my Warhammer then.
1. Poor Rick. Kalash, would you like to make me a constitution saving throw, please? Hurrah! Right.
Raise one eyebrow, as if to say, "Is that this you've got?" When he thinks I'm paralyzed, you see me turning to another target.
No, because there's nobody else near you, he looks like he's going to eat one of you. I haven't decided which one yet. I'll roll randomly. Right, so if you make a stealth check, I will let you do your sneak attack because he thinks you're paralyzed still.
I get advantage on this.
Yeah, so he doesn't know. He looks at you and then his eye flicks back to Rab and he sort of licks the lip with his long tongue. And then you whip your short sword out and you sneak attack the son of a bitch while he's not looking. He hits. He does loads of damage and stabs it in the undead bits and it dies horribly. We're not sure how, but it does. Shashelian, you're back up and running.
I shall cast Hunter's Mark on myself.
So you slash out at the ghoul. He misses again. Ethical, can you make me a constitution saving throw, please? DC 10. Yes! You finally fight off the effects of the venom. And you're able to act, but you have dropped your bow on the ground.
I'll pull my short sword out and shank this bastard that's facing the other way.
Okay. You slip your sword between its ribs. Roll your damage. Right, how do you kill this beastie?
Straight through its abdomen from back to front, so it's looking at Sengo, and then it looks down and sees so much sharp, pointy and covered in silver poking out of its chest.
And then it collapses to its knees and goes and dies. Sengo, you're up next.
Step over the dead body, and that was a fail.
Right, with more enthusiasm than aim, you miss. The second one hits, inflicting heavy damage upon the creature.
My third one. It was like nearly a 17.
Creature 1 continues to attack. Misses. 3, fighting Rick, is still going.
He is.
He bites at you. Poor Rick always gets a beating.
I do. It's because I can't hit with my Warhammer for shit.
And he hits with the claws as well. Now heavily wounded.
Lovely.
You succeed at the roll versus paralysis, though. Wee Rab, can you give me a constitution saving roll, please? Hooray! Right, you managed to finally shake off the venom. What do you want to do, Wee Rab?
I'm going to move behind this girl attacking Rick and twat it on the head with shillelagh.
Can't hit him.
I'll slide sideways so Clash can get in.
And Rick.
Let's just roll this.
Yay!
Woo!
He hits. Covered, bleeding, dripping ghoul venom from his beard.
You bastard.
And are you doing anything with your bonus action?
No.
Kalash.
I will, since he's occupied, I will put a knife between his ribs.
So you also end this one's life. How do you do this?
I'll just literally grab its throat and then stick the short sword through its chest, give it a twist, and just drop it and walk off.
Nice. Shashelian, there's one left standing.
Right, I shall attempt to hit him with my sword.
You swing. He hits. The whole room goes, yay! And cheers for you. How do you kill this, Shashelian?
I take his head clean off and it tumbles up in the air with a scowl.
The last of the ghouls falls dead to the ground. With the death of the ghoul king, you feel the impressive air of the place lifting. So we're going to get all hand wavy. What I'm going to do is you slowly explore the rest of the map. If there's anything in particular you want to ask us about, I will give you a brief description. Most of the rooms were evacuated before they left. There is a smithy. Most of the rooms have got chimneys in. There's a kitchen. It's got all the trappings one would expect to find in a dwarven kitchen: metal dishware, utensils, and drinking mugs. A stone sink equipped with a faucet, which when turned spouts hot water.
I think we should check the king's equipment and see if anything is magical.
Detect magic.
You detect magic. It's not magical. The crown is not of precious metals. It's more a dwarven crown, so it's steel and it's something you could use to headbutt with. So it will be worth a few gold pieces, but it's not as if it was made of gold. The hand axe is well made but non-magical, and again seems to be more of a ceremonial. It's inscribed with dwarven runes on. The ring is a small gold signet ring bearing the Axeholm crest. It has a raised circular area on the front.
Yeah, I think we should take all of them, to be honest. I don't want to just take everything that we find here.
Why not? Sengo does.
Wear the crown, Rick.
Sengo's got dragon favour.
I'll stick the crown on, but maybe somebody else take the ring, and even if take the battle axe, you might as well, if it's worth a couple of quid.
Is there anything else you wanted to do before you leave, or is there any rooms you want us to...
I want to check for secret doors behind the throne.
Oh, do you want me to use my wand of secrets? So I might as well try that.
30 foot. Hang on then. Where are you standing?
Yeah.
Right in front of the throne.
Yeah.
Right. The wand pulses.
Alright. So at that point, I'll move back and just go, secret door over there.
It's within 30 feet, but it doesn't tell you where it is. It just pulses. Is that correct?
It just as it pulses, yeah.
Yeah, it pulses.
Sorry, the wand pulses and points at the one nearest to you.
Bollocks. Right. It points up and to the right.
So it's upstairs. It's in the Queen's chamber, isn't it?
Let's get back upstairs and have a look at that then.
Right, too sweet. You three stooges it up the stairs as fast as your little legs will carry you back into the Queen's chamber. Yeah.
That one's got 3 secrets, so I could use it again if we want a more accurate positioning. Yeah, I think I will. Boom.
It points straight into the fireplace.
A secret passage in that fireplace. It might
I'm
be
gonna
best if
head
a
over.
rogue goes and has a fondle.
Right, I'll go and have a fiddle about.
Right, so you poke your head under the fireplace. The room seems to fill with small flappy creatures. So you literally explode the last 2 in the room. Yours are smoking. Sengo's are chopped in half. Wee Rabs has smashed its skull in. Everybody just turns and looks at you, Dave.
No one left in the corner.
Oh, yeah, there is. There's one left in the corner, and he actually gets to go. Hooray! He's going to go for
I
Edical.
turn around Andy and says, 10 GP, the butt drops Shaz.
It hits and clings to you. It sucks the very lifeblood out from you. It goes... and it's your turn. One left. Shashelian, it's up to you. You can save the day.
Can I use my sword to scrape it off, or...?
Yes! I'll give you a hint. I've only got 1 hit point. Good job, because Dave rolls a 1. Right, so Dave, please describe to me how you killed this sturge, but only just.
Yeah, I flick it off and it breaks its neck when it hits the floor.
Right, Dave stands
Nice.
there with a heroic pose, hands on hips, as if to say, yeah, see. With the last of the sturges dead on the floor. So you poke around in the charcoal and the dust, but you do find one of these dwarven secret doors at the back that are perfectly balanced. So once you figure the actual point to push, you push it and it slides open and reveals behind the fire a small room.
I shall advance as far as the doorway and have a gander for traps.
Can I then move up behind and detect magic?
But you're not gonna be
Yes,
able to-
now that the secret door is open, the chest is radiating reasonably strong magic. Against the south wall of this otherwise empty room, there's no tripwires or plates or anything, Andy, rests an 80-pound iron chest with clawed feet.
Might
Its
as well have-
built-in lock bears a small, tiny circular indentation instead of a traditional keyhole.
Like the ring.
Well, if somebody passes me the ring, I shall stick the ring in the lock. Well, I'll put the ring in the lock and turn it.
There's a small clunk and the chest appears to be unlocked.
Well, I suppose I'd better open it.
You heft it open, and inside you see a large metal helmet and a pair of leather gloves. Both of them are radiating quite strong magic, Rick.
I'll pass the helmet back over my shoulder to whoever's behind me. These leather gloves, can I slip them on?
You certainly can slip them on.
I shall slip them on before I crawl back out.
Right, you slip the gloves on, Andy. They fit tightly around your fingers.
I wouldn't mind Sengo wearing a steel helmet like that. Can I have that?
By all means.
You put it on,
Right, yeah.
everybody else looks at you and gasps. Sengo's eyes are glowing bright red. Right, Andy, as you push the dwarven door, you hear a loud crack and you seem to have dislodged it.
Right. I'm not going to be trapped in here, am I?
No, you sort of like shoved it with such force that it went crack and there's a crack in the wall.
Oh shit, don't know my own strength. That
Does it
gives me
reveal
a hint,
anything?
doesn't it?
Maybe.
I don't think there's going to be another room, to be honest. I think this is probably it.
Well, personally, I think we should do a long rest, then head back to town.
You have a long rest. So you've searched the rest of the rooms. You've fired off your secret wands.
Let's go back to Fandolin.
Yeah.
I need
I'm
to get
fine with
more
that.
arrows.
Right, you head back to Fandolin. It's a short jaunt, so you can do it and arrive there by mid-morning. The peasantry are packing up valuables onto carts in preparation for your arrival. You are paid 250 gold pieces. It's a frenzy of activity. They are basically packing up, ready to move into Axeholm for your attempt upon the dragon. The Hetman waits for your report. Presumably you give him the report.
Aye.
For the first time ever, you see
He's
him.
not.
He's a short, balding, sweaty man who dabs constantly at his brow with a kerchief. He shoves the gold in your hands and says, "We have to evacuate because it's going to get dangerous around here." Right, so anything you want to shop in town. You can refill your arrows, your javelins, go on your character sheets. You have all of your potions listed. The 5 old militia guys are guarding the crossbow. You have a good long rest. You get the last good meal that you're expecting. The Hetman says, "Slay the dragon. I know you're interested in the deeds to the old house, and I'll sign over the deeds to the old manor to you. You're welcome to it."
Huzzah!
Consulting the map, Bracy had the vision of where Icespire Hold was. I am finally going to mark it on the map for you. It's at the top of the tallest peak in the Sword Mountains. An old dwarf fortress.
I love dwarf fortresses.
They
around
love
here.
dwarf fortresses around here. They'll love them. We have a training montage of sharpening swords. Davy does the crow thing of putting the arrowheads on the arrows properly and checks them for straightness. And as dawn breaks, I'm guessing you're setting off down the trail. You set out for the final battle. The sky is partly cloudy and it looks like it may rain as you trudge slowly up the path. What preparations are you taking? Are you taking Stronghoof with you with the crossbow on the back?
Aye.
As you approach, it's freezing cold and overcast. You see a 2-part dwarven hold upon the top. Clouds partly obscure a stone fortress situated atop the icy spur of jagged snow-covered mountains that you recognise as Icespire Peak. The mountain dwarfs the fortress, which consists of 2 separate structures joined together by a stone bridge. A winding path corkscrews up the mountainside to the smaller of the 2 structures and appears to be the only safe way to reach it by land. It's an unwelcome path, but not as unwelcome as the cold, howling wind that buffets you.
Well, I suggest that somebody uses the rogues to sneak ahead and keep their eyes out, so to speak.
But it appears that the road winds round the mountain and you have to go up through the gatehouse to get across into the main part of the fortress. Right, wee Rab McTavish, you can plainly see there are tracks from horses coming and going. They're almost obscured by the snow. Right, so you can shrug into your cold weather clothing.
I love the token for the horse, by the way.
Because you've got a good 20 minutes hike up the trail first.
Yeah, let's just hike up the trail then.
Yeah.
Right, I will, and let's just move up.
Are you just heading up the trail?
I'm stealthily heading up the trail. If there's sign of hoof prints, there must be some horses up there somewhere. Presumably somebody's riding those horses. So does that potentially mean that there are people up here with whom the dragon has done a deal?
Deal.
Well, you would have thought that the dragon, if it spotted horses and riders, would eat them. Presumably it hasn't.
So you move slowly up the trail. The terrain is quite hard going, being single file. So Andy, you're going out first. How far around do you want to go? You can make a party stealth check.
Oh, we've got that. 15, 18, 17, surely they're successes.
And a 26. There's a huge drop from the west where the castle main fortress is, and part of the wall has collapsed. Rubble has spilled down onto the path below. When you get to the rubble strewn portion of the path, it's difficult terrain, so although it is possible, you have to carefully pick your way through it, slowing you down even further. So you all move round
Very slowly.
very slowly outside the fortress. You go all the way around and you come to a door.
Can I listen at the door?
You listen at the door. Ooh, quite successfully. You hear a soft whinny from the other side of the door.
I'll look round for Kalash and sort of make the thieves sign for horses.
He whispers and passes it on to the rest of the party.
And
I
any
like
sort
killing
of
the
arrow
orcs.
slits or windows or anything.
There's an arrow slit just to your right as you're facing the door.
Any way to see through the arrow slit?
You could attempt to climb up that bit of rock and look through the arrow slit.
Well, I should get a bonus for the old climbing kit, shouldn't I?
Yeah, not 20. Right, so you climb up and peer into the window beyond. Inside, it looks to be a barbican, a place where the dwarves of old could shoot down onto the trail passing by. There's a door opposite. It looks like almost certainly that it leads to the bridge across the gap, but you don't see anything inside. The rest of you at this point are slowly leading round. Well, Bracy saw the dragon in a vision, and it was on top of the main
On the top
roof
five.
of the other fortress. The door does not have a lock on it. It just has a handle.
Well, if everybody wants me to push the door, I'll be very careful and slowly push the door open.
You slowly push the door open. Inside, it appears there's a stables. The smell of horse manure and dirty hair assaults your nostrils. And inside you see
Horses!
horses. 4 horses. Whinny and seem a little nervous. Right, so Etigal steps inside, leaving room for everybody to get in. Are you all piling in this room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so you all step forward and push into this stables. You have to shuffle forward a bit. Horses are starting to wicker and look rather nervous, particularly as Stronghoof starts to approach. They start to sort of pull at their bridles.
Would it not be a good idea to tell Stronghoof to stay where he is?
They might not like undead horses.
They don't like undead horses. This is the
I
problem.
tell Stronghoof to
You spend some time carving the horses, and then from around the corner you hear a click of a crossbow being cocked, and a voice says to you, "Well, ain't you a fine set of cutters? You might want to put your hands up." And then that is where we leave it.
Nice.